From the Rift, endless possibilities. A rift in time and space that could unleash anything beyond our imagination. And what did we get? Rift Relics. For months they hyped up the rifts, in trailers, in-game, multi-dimensional travel. You could have justified dropping almost anything with these rifts. But what we got is reskinned loot ticks that drop gold guns and boost kits. My biggest disappointment here is the missed opportunity. We could have had a new legend emerging from the rift, or a massive map update from the effects of the rift, or we could have had something truly creative and fun as an LTM. I'll give you some ideas on what they could have done with the theme, but first I'm just going to talk about what they actually did real quick. So first we got relic guns, which are essentially just kitted out guns from previous seasons. Now this alone is fine. It's like reused assets that you can kind of throw in the mix. So if this was an addition to an LTM, I don't think it's a bad addition at all. There are unique cases of the 3030 having like a lifesteal effect. The 3030 just dropped the other day. The EPG rocket launcher was kind of like the most hyped item of the event, and it's only dropping now, a whole month after the event started. For some reason they wanted to do these weekly drops to kind of keep things fresh and new, but I don't agree with how they've done it. They're kind of just dragging it out with minimal content, in my opinion. And the reality is, it's not an LTM because they know there's not enough content to justify it. The relic guns are kind of minimal effort, and the boost kits are unique, but honestly, they're either okay if not just bad. I mean, the Void Reflex one is really just not fun if you just want to play Apex Legends, like a normal game. And it does feel to me like they were trying to mimic the old Final Fantasy event a little bit. You know, you replaced the materia with boost kits, and you replaced the Buster Sword with the EPG launcher. I don't think it's living up to that though. I mean, the Buster Sword was like a truly unique experience, given that it's a melee weapon, it had really cool effects, and I don't think the EPG launcher is going to live up to that. All right, so I'm talking all this stuff, right? So what ideas do I have? I mean, my main point of the Rift thing is that it should have just been an LTM to begin with. I've seen a lot of people complaining that they can't even play normal Apex, and everyone wants revival as well. So why not just put a twist on it? When you die, you enter a rift, and you can get back into the game by some means. You can just do the same thing that revival already does and just put you on a cooldown, and then when you do revive, you come out of a rift. It's thematic, let's just call it there. This would give the mode a more LTM vibe, and you combine it with the Rift Relics, and boom, you have Rift Revival. Also, it sounds kind of nice. I mean, if you want to get really weird with it, you could definitely make it to where when you die in the Rift dimension, you have some sort of purpose. But I wouldn't go too crazy on that idea. I think just doing the basic revive thing that you already have is probably what would sit best with players. And listen, they already did revival mixed with the Rift Relics, so why not just leave it there and combine it as an LTM? This would also just allow people who want to play the normal game to do so. But I think more can be done. This is pretty simple, but let players travel through rifts. Either spawn rifts randomly on the map, or allow players to use an item that creates a rift, and this rift will pretty much just drop you somewhere else on the map. Similar to coming out of a dropship or like labs on Kings Canyon. So the whole point of this is basically if you're in a dead part of the map, you can get a quick and effective rotation to somewhere else on the map in the zone. You could have it be a random location that they just fly over, or you could take a different step and make it like a hotspot location that everyone teleports into. And this would provide players with quick and easy action, which I'm sure they want if they're playing LTM. I mean, you combine this with revival, you can keep players engaged even if they don't hot drop. I mean, this might seem like a small addition, but it's thematic, it adds value, and it further justifies separating the mode as an LTM. And the thing is, we already have rift travel in the game, so it's not hard to implement. That said, this is still pretty basic stuff, and I think we can get more creative. So there are many ways you could do this. You could have rifts spawn over a POI or an area similar to a hot drop, and it kind of drops loot in some way. You could either just flat out drop the loot in that area, or you could drop like void enemies that drop the loot when you kill them. A more isolated and unique way you could do this is to actually let players enter a rift to an alternate dimension that has some purpose. Listen, it could be as simple as a rift loot vault, okay? You just loot the vault, you leave. Or you could actually have some sort of boss fight. Now, I don't know how Apex players would generally feel towards this type of PvE. I'm not gonna go too crazy into it, But I do think if you put some care into it, like an actually good boss fight and not just killing prowlers, it could be genuinely fun, especially if there's a fun and unique reward. I mean, just imagine your whole squad gunning down and using abilities against a big tanky void boss, you know? And you get good loot, or an Easter egg, or something, you know? Just something. You could even make it like, if you win the game, you get access to this. Like, it doesn't have to be in the middle of the game. And I don't know, I mean, you could just drop these bosses on the map through a rift. Like, you don't even have to do the alternate dimension stuff. Just drop them somewhere. Everyone knows where it is. They can go there. World events. Any sort of world events that you could think of with the rifts can be included in this little section. These are just like the things I came up with pretty quickly. But let me just put it like this. Reskinned loot ticks are just not doing it for me. They spawn everywhere. They're not very engaging. They're not very fun. And let's just face it, it's low effort. Now, I've already said it, but it just seems like such a no-brainer that these rifts that are apparently ravaging the world would bring some sort of change to the game. A map update, a new legend that comes from the rift, a new weapon that comes from the rift. I mean, you could come up with so many things, right? There's really not a lot to say here. It's just wasted potential. We barely got any content for this season. The Lifeline rework was pretty dry, no map updates, and the patch notes were bad. It's not what we want to see from months of development time from a major game. And to me, it's not a question if they're capable. It's a question of if they care. Passion over profit. And that's the crazy part. Passion will bring profit. We need to stop working off these models that is minimizing input for maximum profit. It's all over the world, and it's clearly here as well. The mid-season patch notes were actually just skins, 2 nerfs that were already in the game, and the winter train event. And I don't it doesn't seem like they're dropping anything else. I'm just saying. I'm putting this in post, but I'm just saying. Like, really? And listen, you don't have to agree with any of the ideas I've said so far, but surely we at least agree that this is a lot of wasted potential and there could be a lot more done. I promise you, with the resources this game has, we are getting a fraction of the content that we should be getting. And just looking at it from a development standpoint, what are they developing? What was developed for this season? Yeah, they really baited us with this one. Just a grenade launcher? Really? All right, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think, and I'll holla at you. Bye.